Taoiseach, fundamentally I want to ask you today, what do you and the government have against the lone parents of this country? Because next July, 2nd of July, lone parents working over 19 hours a week will lose the one family payment when their youngest child turns 7 years of age. Up to 32,000 families will be affected by this, Taoiseach, and in many cases, ultimately their incomes will be slashed by up to €80 per week. By any yardstick or any objective analysis, it's a cruel and brutal cut. And the Taoiseach has been persistent and consistent in reducing the age qualifications for this payment. Back in 2012, going from 14 years to 12, and then to 10 years in 2013, and now to 7-year-olds. And when you take into consideration that the deprivation rate amongst the lone parents is 230% higher than the general population, and 33% higher than those even in the unemployed sector, we're looking at a serious attack on the quality of life of lone parents in this country. And the implication seems to be, from the commentary from government and from Minister Burton, is that lone parents are somehow not doing anything at home when they're looking after children or in part-time employment. It's an appalling measure by any standards, and the Minister promised the various activist groups on this that she would not introduce this measure on July the 2nd until we had a Scandinavian model of childcare. Now, one newspaper columnist, I think it was Victoria White, did make the telling point that the nearest thing we have to a Scandinavian childcare model is the drop-off facility at an IKEA store. And Taoiseach, it's insulting people to say that this is going to move them into employment and so on, because this cut comes on top of a lot of other cuts in successive budgets. For example, the income disregard being reduced from €147 to €90 when lone parents got employment, in terms of the barring effectively of lone parents from VEC, from CE schemes as a gateway back into employment by changing the second payment allowance and so on. But fundamentally, Taoiseach, I'm asking you, in terms of any regard at all for social justice and equality and some degree of solidarity, to not go ahead with this measure and to reverse the policy that you've embarked upon and that Minister Burton has embarked upon, which treats and targets in a most cruel manner lone parent families.